And we're back. Time to have a first major conversation this morning on the breakfast to help you. I know you're enjoying the program tonight, this morning. And of course, we're going straight to the aviation sector as we earlier advertised, where aviation union members are protesting a proposed demolition of all agencies' office under the aviation sector in Lagos State. The protesting aviation union members, in their numbers on Thursday, were seen displaying placards after a meeting with which resolved to reject the proposed demolition. If you recollect, the aviation minister, Hadi Sirika, recently proposed the demolition of some agencies of the ministry at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. This is the buildings hosting such agencies. Now, such agencies' buildings are to be demolished. Those who are to be demolished, rather, that of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, the FAAN, that's the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria's former headquarters, the Accident Investigation Bureau, AIB, which has been up for some time, in the air, that will be demolished, and NAMA, the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. Now, there's also a plan by the Minister of Aviation on the concession of major airports in the country. All these plans have not gone down well, it seems, with the aviation unions, and it led to the members having meetings. Various unions have had various meetings in the aviation industry, which have been held within the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Ikeja. Yesterday, don't forget, there was some strike there last week, which affected, travel activity at the Murtala Mohammed Airport Terminal 2. We have joining us this morning to discuss this development and its effect on the aviation sector and the country at large. An aviation expert. He's the editor, the aviation editor of the new Telegraph Newspaper. He joins us via Zoom in Lagos. Wole Shadare, good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yes. Now, give us a sense of what's behind this latest agitation in the aviation sector. Does it have anything to do with the concession of the airports?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I think I need to give you a little background about what has been going on for some time now. The aviation minister, or the Ministry of Aviation, if I may say, came out with his agenda in 2015 on what it's going to do for 8 years within the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. And some of these projects were, put together as roadmap for the aviation industry. Some of the things you have in the roadmap are concessioning of the airport, national carrier, leasing, setting up of the aircraft leasing company, MRO, maintenance, repair, overhaul, and I think, yes, and Aerotropolis. And all these were encapsulated in what we have as aviation roadmap. What it means is that a guide to how to develop the aviation industry. But one of the most contentious issues is the concession of airports. And in Nigeria, this seemed to be new to us, and the unions rightly felt that concessioning the airport without going through some procedure or doing it right to expose their workers to hardship, unemployment, and job losses, as the case may be. So they've supported the ministry in concession because they had it in good authority that not a lot of the workers will be laid off. And we agree that instead of, yes, some workers will be laid off, the new concessionaires may not really want to work with the volume of workers that you have in FAN, because FAN is the controller of the airports in Nigeria, and we have almost 30 airports, both private and federal government-built airports. These are managed by FAN. So they sat and probably they saw that the process may not be as transparent as it was touted to be. But I'm surprised, and a lot of people are surprised that what were the workers looking at this dying minute when everything had been almost completed. All the processes have been completed, all the Bidders had been named like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and only for us to now get to this level and you're telling us that you will not take it. In as much as we agree that concession must have human face, concession must be done in a way that you do not sack a lot of people. But we know that most of the people in FAN are dead rules. I'm sorry to use that word, are dead rules that do not add value to the running of FAN. And if you have an organization that has over 20,000 workers, what FAN needs more?
All right. Wole, are you there? Can you hear us, please?
Critical people rather than supportive staff. So you look, yes, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can. Please go on.
Can you hear me? Okay. So we need to look at it and say, okay, let us make sure that the right things are done. But concession of airports is not new in the advanced world. If you go to Heathrow Airport some few years ago, a Nigerian, Ogunlesi, managed one of the biggest airports, Gatwick Airport in the UK, and it was successful. The idea of holding on to something without making money, we should be jettisoned. In as much as we agree that the concession should have human face, we also look at the development of
Mr. Shadare,
our airports.
okay.
The way we have our airports now is nothing to write home about. The way we have our airports now is nothing to write home about. Our airports are in sorry state that even the best airports are nothing to compare to the least run airports.
Yeah, Mr. Shadare, yes. Before you get to that point, you said that the aviation unions are not worried about the concession anymore. The issue now is a demolition. But reports that we had yesterday indicated that the unions were still complaining about the concession. So I want you to speak to that. Then also, when you look at the fact that these demolitions, because I've heard about the AIB building demolition for some months now before the arrest, and then now we hear in the former FAN headquarters and all that they want to make way for a development project, which is called Aerotropolis. Yes, wouldn't this create more jobs? Is something that should welcome.
Yes, I think the AIB that was demolished was as a result of necessity. If you look at the airport that was opened some few months ago, you'll find out that terminal, had never been used up to now, except for one airline or two airlines that are using that airport. And what is the problem? The problem was that when that project was conceptualized, they didn't take into cognizance that they needed space, they needed more apron, they needed more fingers where large aircraft would be able to park. That terminal is as useless as it is now because no airline is ready and willing to use it because they use bigger aircraft, the 777, the Boeing 787, A320, A330, A340, and the rest. These are super jumbo jets. So you cannot park two aircraft on that terminal, on the apron of that terminal at the same time. So the people that conceptualized this thing in 2011 and 2012 did not take into cognizance that bigger aircraft, we have to use that terminal. So, and what did they do? After the completion of that terminal, they felt that they needed more space. AIB, Accident Investigation Bureau Office, had to go. It had to go in the sense that all the major aviation agencies have been relocated to Abuja. Yes, some people have their reservation about the relocation of most of the agencies to Abuja because they believe aviation is Lagos. The headquarters of aviation should be in Lagos. So that has been done to create more room so that bigger aircraft can be able to use that terminal. Up to now, they still need more space. And if they need more space, the aircraft hangar belonging to private individuals will have to also go to give room for bigger aircraft to make use of that terminal. But I don't know if they had reached an agreement on the demolition and the compensation to be paid to them. Then, if you look at what has happened, the planned demolition of the former headquarters, because that was where they used their former headquarters, Nama, so they still have some support staff there. So what the minister is trying to do, and what we call it the Aerotropolis, is like turning an airport into an airport city, like you have in Munich, like you have in Heathrow, like you have in other places around the world. Is that we will be able to connect. You can able to seamlessly from international terminal to domestic terminal seamlessly. And up to now, it's a big shame that we have not been able to link those terminals or to even link the town by rail to the airport, because most times if you need to catch a flight, you're coming from the domestic terminal and you need to go to the international terminal, you'll find out that you are stuck in traffic, and most times people miss their flight. So what the minister is trying to do, or what the federal government is trying to do, is to make room where we can have rail to link the airports, the two terminals or the three terminals as the case may be, so that people who do not have to go link the two terminals by road can go by rail, like you have in other airports too. Then you can begin to have hotels, you can begin to have play areas around the airport. But my own idea of demolition is, can't we have all these things done without demolishing this property? If we're even going to demolish them, let us turn them into a business concern, like build a skyscraper, maybe you build 10-story building and you turn it into a business center, like the Ramshackle facilities of fund that we have in Lagos that used to be their headquarters. By and large, the concerns of the unions is highly noted, in the sense that I think I believe, and a lot of people believe, that rather than demolish that, they should look for better alternative of making the airport an aerotropolis. I think what is happening is that many people do not have confidence in government. Many people do not have trust in government, and that is why when government says we want to do this, people begin to query it, and for right reasons too, because you find out that most times when they say they want to do this thing, they end up doing the wrong thing. So people have taken whatever they say with a pinch of salt. So we also need to move away from putting airports in the hands. Government does not have the resources to run business. Government shouldn't even run business. Government should create the enabling environment where businesses and enterprises can thrive. Bring in the private sector, let them spend their money, and take that burden off government, so that government can use the money or pump the money into more critical areas like road, like infrastructure, like education, like health, than saying you want to engage in airport. You want to engage in running airports, because most of these airports, when they are built, they are handed over to FAN. FAN continue to run it. And if you look at what is happening, the bulk of the revenue funds come from Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and to some extent, Kano Airport. So you can't use the resources of these 4 airports to run over 30 airports. There are some airports that flights are done just once or twice a week or once a day. So
it seems that we have
you begin to see, yes, you're making so much money from this airport, but you're throwing it away, like throwing money into the ocean or burning money to run other airports that are not viable. So government need to look at all of this, what the unions have said, and be able to make amends. But I don't know how much of amends that the government will need to make, because already the preferred bidders have been announced, both for the national carrier and for concession and other things. So I really do not know where to go from here, and what the union really wants. Yes, I agree that the essence of every union is to fight for its workers. I think this concessioning is one that has really put them on their workers.
Yeah, we could go on and on and on. I think it has a lot to unpack as this is concerned. We have a lot of questions to ask you, but so little time. But I think, Mercy, you agree with me that the strike by the airport workers is something that we don't want to see again, because last time it happened, people were affected. I don't know if this particular strike will affect the flight activities, especially for those using the international airport and even maybe the domestic airports. But Wole Shadare, we have to leave it at that. And of course, maybe next time we'll have more time to ask you more questions. I want to thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
All right, Wole Shadare is the Aviation Editor of New Telegraph Newspaper. It's a very interesting, subject matter. We don't know much about this sector, but to see the plans that the government has for that Lagos airport. Have you ever been stuck moving from the international wing to the local domestic wing? It's not happened to you. It's happened to me before, and I missed a flight. So it's a good one, But the question remains, I think people are asking. We have just about 7 months for the administration to say goodbye. So why is this coming so close, to the end of the tenure? But we'll take a break now. When we come back, we talk about sports. We look at Rivers United and Bielsa Queens. Please stay with us.